Russian troops stationed near the Belarus-Ukraine border are digging trenches and reinforcing positions, but the expected major offensive from the north has failed to materialize. The once serious threat of Belarus opening a second front for Putin is effectively neutralized. Ukrainian defenses, combined with clever asymmetric tactics and international pressure, have sealed the northern border. Putin's long-term strategy to use Belarus as a reliable launchpad and strategic depth is quietly crumbling. This is a significant strategic win that deserves much more attention. Today, we take a detailed look at how Ukraine prepared this northern containment operation and exactly how they are executing it to dismantle Putin's Belarus plans. Hit like if you appreciate this kind of in-depth analysis and subscribe for regular updates. The preparation started well over a year ago when Ukrainian command recognized the northern border as a critical vulnerability. Intelligence teams worked around the clock to monitor Russian troop movements inside Belarus, track Belarusian military readiness, and identify potential invasion corridors. Detailed maps were created showing rail lines, airfields, and supply routes that Russia would need to use for any large-scale operation from Belarusian territory. On the military side, Ukraine significantly strengthened its northern defenses. New fortifications, anti-tank obstacles, and minefields were constructed. Mobile drone reconnaissance units were deployed along the border for constant surveillance. Western partners supplied modern weapons including Javelin and Nalaw anti-tank systems, air defense missiles, and long-range artillery. Ukrainian brigades in the north received specialized training focused on rapid response and defensive maneuvers in forested and marshy terrain. At the same time, a sophisticated political and economic pressure campaign was launched against the Lukashenko regime. Western countries coordinated targeted sanctions on Belarusian officials, state companies, and key export sectors. Diplomatic channels delivered a clear warning: any direct military involvement in attacks on Ukraine would trigger severe consequences. This created visible hesitation inside Belarusian leadership and military circles. A critical part of the preparation involved building partisan and sabotage networks. Ukrainian intelligence cultivated contacts and supported small groups capable of disrupting Russian logistics inside Belarus. The goal was never full-scale war in the north, but to make any major Russian or Belarusian offensive extremely costly and slow from the very beginning. Execution of this sealing strategy has been highly disciplined and multi-domain. Ukrainian long-endurance drones maintain almost constant watch over Russian and Belarusian bases in the region. Any sign of troop concentration, equipment movement, or supply buildup is quickly reported and often met with precision strikes before forces can fully organize. These strikes are usually carried out with artillery, HIMARS-style systems, or small but effective drone teams. Sabotage operations have proven particularly effective. Rail lines used by Russian forces have been repeatedly damaged, fuel depots mysteriously catch fire, and command vehicles disappear. These actions create constant friction and force Russia to divert resources to protection duties rather than offensive planning. Politically, the pressure on Lukashenko remains intense. While he continues to provide rhetorical support to Putin and hosts some Russian troops, he has carefully avoided committing large numbers of his own forces into direct combat. Economic difficulties, fear of total isolation, and domestic discontent have made deeper involvement extremely risky for his regime. The results speak for themselves. The northern border remains tense but remarkably stable from Ukraine's perspective. Russian forces in Belarus are largely stuck in a defensive posture, unable to launch the kind of major diversionary attack Putin once hoped for. This has allowed Ukraine to shift more experienced units and resources to the eastern and southern fronts where the fighting is most intense. For Putin, this is a serious strategic failure. He had counted on Belarus as both a source of additional manpower and a way to stretch Ukrainian defenses thin. Instead, he must continue supporting Lukashenko economically while getting very little military benefit in return. The troops Russia keeps in Belarus are effectively tied down and unavailable for operations elsewhere. Lukashenko finds himself in an increasingly difficult position. His regime depends heavily on Russian backing, but full participation in the war risks triggering massive internal problems and even greater Western sanctions. Reports suggest growing quiet resistance within the Belarusian army and population to being dragged deeper into Russia's conflict. This northern containment strategy perfectly illustrates Ukraine's smart approach to the war. They combine strong conventional defense, persistent drone surveillance, targeted sabotage, and international diplomatic pressure to achieve outsized strategic results without needing to launch costly large-scale offensives in that sector. The sealed northern border gives Ukraine breathing room and allows them to focus on pressuring Russian logistics in the south, striking deep into occupied territories and slowly wearing down Russia's ability to sustain the fight. It also proves that Putin's so-called axis of allies is far weaker and less reliable than he wants the world to believe. As the war continues, the failure of Putin's Belarus strategy may become even more apparent. The northern border that once loomed as a major threat has been transformed into a managed zone where Ukraine holds the initiative. What is your view? Will Lukashenko eventually break away from Putin's demands, or will Russia find new ways to force Belarus into the conflict? Share your thoughts in the comments section. If you want more videos analyzing these important strategic developments, like this video, share it, turn on notifications so you never miss the latest analysis. Thanks for watching. The pressure on Russia keeps mounting from every direction, and we'll continue delivering the clear picture of what's really happening. See you in the next update.